Welcome back, guys, to another episode. I decided to, do another episode. It's a bit late at night, but like I said, if I want to be consistent at doing this and providing value, and also e- expressing myself in this type of way, because to be honest, I do a lot of research, and I feel that I want to put the research out to work and let people benefit from this. Whoever's listening, however you can use my information to help you. It's not in the form of a book, which I'd like it to be, but it's in the form of a podcast. And because this medium is so new, I just want to take advantage of it more often and try and put as much value as I can. And so this episode, sitting down, having my chamomile tea to be a bit more calm. I've been preparing this for a while from experience, actually, doing certain things and noticing certain things about myself. Like, for example, been training in the gym for the last, 10 years, something like that. And since then, been qualified as a personal trainer, because realizing the benefits of what the gym actually has, and then getting into nutrition and seeing what that could do to your body. Knowing that, it's mostly nutrition that helps. And, combining those two worlds and being a part of those two worlds, nutrition and being part of fitness, it kind of changes you. It changes your chemistry in your brain. It changes the chemistry in your body. And to know that something as simple as food and something as simple as moving your body can have such profound effects. And especially when you do it consistently, years later, it just makes you stronger. It makes you physically stronger. It makes your mind mentally strong, mentally tough, gives you discipline. It has a whole host of benefits. And ever since I was, using fitness and just trying to get fit and trying to have a nice build, chamomile. I started to realize that while I'm in the gym, no matter how tired or sad or even anxious, everything kind of seems to fade away at that time for that 1 hour training session or 2 hour training session, whatever it is. So I'm thinking about, could this have some type of neurological effect? And I started doing some research, and obviously people like Andrew Huberman pop up quite a lot with this. So, as of recently, started getting into more running, especially since what happened to my grandfather and stuff. Decided to get more into running and started to notice other hosts of benefits and differences in my body, in my mind, the way I run my life, the way I do things in the day. Running has definitely changed the way I look at fitness and the way I look at mental health, the way I look at your mind-muscle connection and consistency and discipline and all those type of things. Running has helped big time. In fact, sometimes I use running when running a long distance. Can be in the treadmill, can be on the road. I kind of deal with a lot of things that I've gone through in my past, and I don't always do it intentionally. I don't say I'm going for this run to kind of deal with this. As I'm running, I just kind of you what's in the forefront of your mind, you kind of go into it and you work through it, you think about it, you talk to yourself about it in your mind, and before you know it, you're already 3 miles, and then you're 5 miles in, and you dealt with a lot of stuff. Your body's getting trained, your mind is getting trained at the same time. So yeah, it does help. So I found 10 ways that running and fitness can fight depression. So the first one, and this is research that I've done, I would say 2 or 3 years ago. Running boosts BDNF, the brain's natural antidepressant. BDNF stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's some type of protein in your brain that acts like fertilizer. So they say it is said to repair brain cells. It improves your mood. it increases motivation, and it enhances emotional regulation. It is known that people with depression often have lower BDNF levels compared to those that are more motivated and not as depressed or not depressed would have slightly elevated BDNF levels, which is a protein. Again, it's a protein that enhances to your brain chemistry, and the higher levels you have, the more motivated you are. The lower levels you have, the more depressed you could be, and running is one of the things that helps to enhance and build BDNF. It actually said that when I was doing this research before that if you're running a new route, because it's a different route you're looking at and you're trying to map up all different things in your mind and you're running consistently, because running is technically seen as hard, you're running and you're running a new route, your BDNF levels kind of increase a bit faster that way because you're doing a lot of things in your mind and physically at the same time. So basically doing harder things help increase the BDNF, which elevate mood, increase motivation, and repair stressed brain cells, which I'm sure we all have a lot of. Number 2, movement forces your body to create antidepressant chemicals. Always hear the antidepressant chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, and running does all of those things. It increases serotonin, which is a mood stabilizer, keeps you in a nice, good mood, stable mood. It increases dopamine, which is the motivation and reward where you feel nice and good about yourself, that you did something. It increases endorphins, which help you deal with pain relief. So it's like, instead of taking a painkiller, those endorphins are released in your body while running, so you don't feel as much pain, and even afterwards when your body is repairing. And the last thing it says it increases is endocannabinoids, which is more of a calming chemical, which helps you sleep better and helps you feel a lot calmer when you are done. The next one, okay, before I get to the next one, they say this is why running often feels like a reset button, and I do feel that. I used to go running in the summer months every day in the morning at 5 a.m. So go for about 5Ks every day to get more into the running zone, to my mental health, to make sure my day is regulated, and that used to help a lot because I know if I started my day off by running, anything that I'm dealing with in the day will be a lot easier than getting up 5 a.m. and going for a 5K run. So, yes, by personal experience, I feel that this did help a lot. So it does feel like a reset, especially if you had a hard day and you're tired at night, you don't know what to do. In the morning, you just push yourself, you force yourself to do, even if it's a 5K walk or a 2K walk or a run, but you're getting out there, and that's the hard part. Sometimes not even the actual run that's hard. Number 3, the rhythm of running regulates the nervous system. When you run, breathing becomes rhythmic. You learn to sometimes box breathe. You learn to box breathe, which regulates your breathing, keeps you in a nice consistent tone of breathing. The body syncs its movements with the hands and the legs, the way you're leaning and the way you're breathing. Cortisol levels, the stress hormone, drops because you actually sweat out cortisol from your body. And this was said by Dr. Tara Swart. The vagus nerve activates. So the vagus nerve is the main nerve you have that's running from behind your ear on one side going right down to your foot. And that nerve is said to be the calming nerve. And sometimes you have certain foods, like I'm having chamomile tea now. The chamomile tea is meant to stimulate the vagus nerve to keep me in a more relaxed mood, more in a relaxed state. Right? There's no drugs or anything involved in this. This is just you going for a run. Me having chamomile tea, it relaxes you and it regulates you. So running kind of does that. It relaxes you and it regulates your mood because of what you're doing. So they say that if you're running and you're breathing and you kind of like you hum or you're humming music, the act of humming regulates the vagus nerve, which will instantly put you in a more relaxed state of mind. This physically shifts the body out of stress mode and into a calm mode. And I've tried this before. When I do the humming thing, actually, the and breathe and run, I'm able to run for a longer distance and slightly faster. And I've tested this out before. Number 4, running gives structure, which depression always destroys. Depression removes routine. Running gives it back. This should go without saying. Sometimes when you're feeling sad or depressed, let's say you're feeling sad. Let's not go into depression yet. You're feeling sad. You had your meal prep that you'd done on Sunday. You had it later for the whole week. It's Wednesday now. Something happened that made you sad, made you feel slightly low in mood. You don't want to eat the same meal that you prepared on Sunday. You want to buy something else. You want to buy out. You want to buy a pizza. You want to buy a burger. You know, get something easy. Maybe you don't want to eat it all. And by you doing that, your routine just got moved. You had your routine set. Everything will work with time. You'll have enough time later. You'll have healthy food. But now because you were sad or something, you want to feel good about it. Feel good about yourself. You get a chocolate. You change your eating routine. You might sleep later because you're watching a TV show. You might sleep earlier. Your routine moves. And that's what depression does. It's very good at doing that. Even simple rules like what I've done before. Run 1 mile every day. Or train at 5 a.m. in the morning. Or train at 6 a.m. in the morning. Have those rules that you stick to, because depression hates routine. So once you give your body routine, you don't really have time to sit there and think about your thoughts or how sad you are. You're doing things like you said. And that's what always happens every day. You can't always stick to the routine. But having more of a structure around what you do in your life kind of helps you reduce the amount of depression or sometimes even anxiety that you have. Create predictability, which calms the brain and reduces anxiety. If you have a day that you don't know what's going to happen, you go to work, obviously you know you're going to be driving to work. You know you're going to be getting there, you're going to have a meeting at some point in the day. You know you're going to have lunch some point in the day. You know you're going to leave at some point in the day and maybe get into traffic or whatever. But when your day is more predictable, you know exactly what time you're going to get to work. You know exactly what time you're going to have coffee. You know exactly what time you're going to have that meeting. You know exactly when you're going to have lunch and exactly what time you're going to be leaving. Your days, the major parts of your day has been predicted already. There's nothing that's going to be throwing a spanner in the works and getting you all out of whack to add any sort of depression or sadness into it. So once you create that predictability in your day, you can't think about, I don't know what's going to happen today, and make your mind feel a bit more chaotic. Your mind will feel more relaxed and calm because you have predictability, which means you have discipline, which means you have order. So start off your day off by running 1 mile or walking 1 mile in the morning, or 3 miles, or however long you want to do it, or doing, if you got a stationary bike at home, doing cycle in the morning for 5 to 10 minutes, or you do some stretches in the morning, and you come home, you do some exercise in the afternoon. You got those routines set in place. There's no room of movement for you to be sitting idle and thinking, this is my life, it's so sad, I don't know what to do, because you're leaving it all to chance, right? Let's not leave anything to chance. Let's be a bit more ordered and structured in whatever we want to do. Number 5, it strengthens identity through small wins. Every run says, I did something hard today. Small victories strengthen identity, and depression weakens identity. When people see themselves as stronger, more disciplined, someone who shows up, it becomes harder for depression to dominate. And I know this for sure. Been training for quite a few years, training consistently in the gym for 10 years, but I've been doing this for about 15 years. I've been a personal trainer for the past 5 years, and knowing that you've done something hard, and if you go to the gym and, I didn't train for a week, let me go in and say, I'm going to do bicep curls, let me see how much I can pick. Can I pick up heavier than last week? And I gradually build up in that same training session, and I pick up the most, and I'm sweating the most. Took some pre-workout or had some coffee, whatever, and you're pushing all your energy, even if it's just a 20-minute workout. You'll create that identity that you have strength, that you are a strong person, and it doesn't matter what day you've been through, you're coming in here now and you're doing the most, and you are giving the most. So people see themselves as stronger, more disciplined, and someone who shows up, especially for themselves, it really becomes harder for depression to dominate. And this has been whatever I've been doing in my life for however old I am right now, which is 34. Number 6, running builds resilience. Every run teaches discomfort is temporary. You don't need motivation. You can do hard things. The mind quits before the body. Discomfort is temporary. Everything you do, which I've learned again the hard way, that discomfort is temporary. You might be feeling uncomfortable because something happened. You might be feeling uncomfortable because you need to have this conversation. But once it's over, you feel a lot better because it's done. You need to do an application. It's uncomfortable. Real things need to be done. But once it's done, you feel better. You can tick it off the list. You feel a lot lighter. You feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more at ease. Just we're going for a run. If there's nothing else you're doing in your life, if your day is basically living Groundhog Day, every day is the same day, and you decide to add running into it, you know that you're adding the suffering and this hard part for yourself. So life is not going to give you any hard things because life is supposed to be hard. So if you had the hard things for yourself, nothing else can come in there and make it hard for you because you already chose that hard part. And that's what running can do. You don't have to say you're doing 5 miles. You don't have to say you're doing 4 miles or 3. You can do 1 every day, just to get that suffering out of the way, because suffering is inevitable. Being human beings and living on the earth that we are, choose the suffering that you want. You'll suffer if you don't run. When you're older, you'll be suffering because your body is unfit. You'll suffer if you don't meal prep because now you don't know what to eat. You're buying out takeout. You maybe skip some meals. You'll suffer because of that. Whichever way you look at it, meal prepping is a bit difficult. It takes a lot of time on the weekend. You're suffering there temporarily at the short time, but later on in the week, you live much better. Running, going to the gym and training, it's temporary discomfort. You hate it at the point, you don't like it, you're sweating, you're uncomfortable, it's painful, but you'll be stronger afterwards. So discomfort now and success later. Number 7, fitness breaks rumination. The depressive thought loop, right? That's what rumination is, the depressive thought loop. Depression thrives in stillness. Running interrupts the negative loop by giving the brain new sensory input, increasing oxygen, forcing focus on movement. It literally pulls the mind out of its dark spiral. All you have to do is get out there and start doing it. And the body does the rest. It's not like something that, when we go for running, we have to think about, I need to get my mind right, I need to breathe, I need to get oxygen. Your body does it automatically for you. That's how we are as human beings. Number 8, running improves sleep, and sleep improves mood. Better sleep equals strong emotional regulation, lower stress, higher energy, less irritability, clearer decision making, and better recovery. Running gives the brain a reason to switch off at night, and as we know, again from neuroscience, Andrew Huberman, they found that the brain actually washes itself at night. And the longer you give yourself to sleep, the more washing it does. And all the thoughts of yesterday, all the conversations you had, all the learning you did, all the meetings you had, all the thoughts get percolated. The glymphatic system starts working. Your thoughts get washed off, gets clean. You have those dreams that you need. But you have to be in a long enough and deep enough sleep for that to happen. And once you do that, you're ready for the next day and you're fresh. Running gives the brain a reason to switch off at night. So, you run the hard thing in the day. Or in the morning you ran, went to work, you did your day. You come home at night, you're satisfied, you're relieved, you can sleep nicely. Number 9, running creates purpose. A key resilience tool in your framework. This is what you need for your framework. You need to have purpose. You need to have discipline. You need to have some type of hope that tomorrow will be better. Purpose doesn't need to be massive. A simple running goal like completing a challenge, hitting a pace, like maybe the fastest you can run a mile is 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Have a pace goal. Every week try and match it. Every 2 weeks try and match it. You have a goal and you work toward that. Building up to distance. Maybe starting off at 5K, you never ran 5K before. Eventually be building up to run half a marathon and eventually a marathon. You can join a running club. You can create your own running club virtually, or you can do it personally and socially. It helps you getting out there, meeting new people. That's one of the best ways to meet new people and meet new friends is through a running club. Running and doing something where you have a purpose, like, again, trying to run a marathon one day, trying to run a marathon with a family member gives meaning to each day. You're not just going out to do a 5K run or do a 10K run or a 1 mile run. You're going out there because each run is adding something to your life. Each run is making you stronger. Each run is making you more resilient. And each run is making you get closer to your goal of that marathon, if that's what your goal is. Lastly, number 10, running builds community, which protects against depression. Whether through a run club, Strava, Pacer, virtual communities, online challenges, and group events, running connects people who fight the same battles. Connection always equals healing. Humans aren't meant to fight depression alone. We do need others. We do need community. We need a tribe. And running and fitness helps you find that tribe. So once you're done listening to this episode, please go out there, start your running challenge, start your fitness challenge, open a gym contract, start a new routine in the morning, get up at 5 a.m., go for a run, go for a walk at least. Go for a walk when you come from work, take the dog out for a walk more often. Get out there and you'll see that your world will change. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Sorry about drinking tea in between, losing my voice as I'm talking. But this episode was very close to me as I've done lots of research in my own life at this. And I saw that my life has changed because of that. It made me stronger, made me become a runner, made me fight through depression and anxiety just by doing these simple things. Nothing miraculous, but it actually does feel miraculous. And I will see you in the next one.